How's it going, everyone? And welcome to the 606. I'm your host, as always. And if this is your first time swinging by, welcome. We appreciate you. Happy to have you. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Basharat. How's it going, Bosh?
It's going well, man. It was pretty cool D23 expo that we had, and it ties into what
Yes.
we were just talking about in our last episode. We got a bunch of news, maybe a little bit an extra video that actually was a kind of a surprise.
hmm
So like it spurned a
Yeah.
lot of thoughts, and this is a separate episode. Obviously, it's different from the Spider-Man stuff we did, but with the D23 news coming out, I'm excited to talk about like the new Star Wars shows and Ahsoka season 2.
Um, I've never seen anything Star Wars related, dude.
You did watch some of D23, right?
Whatever was on TikTok and Twitter.
They did have some news about some Marvel properties. We could probably dig more into that, and that also ties
Oh,
into
you know
our
what? You know
Spider-Man
what? You talked
stuff.
about X-Men. Do you want to talk about X-Men?
I do want to talk about X-Men. I think I need a longer night to talk about X-Men.
Mm. Yeah. We gotta kind of have to come prepared for X Men, right?
Yes, most
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. We've been waiting for the X Men to be in the MCU for like years now, for them
Yes.
to be fully integrated. Yeah. We should probably save that. You know what? I Do you want to do a podcast about the Payne and Watson sign and trade, 3-team trade between the Cavs, the Nuggets, and the Clippers? Wait, was
Uh,
it the
I
Clippers?
would. I very much do want to do that podcast, but the problem is this is the first I'm hearing about it. Vince, what the hell,
Oh yeah. Shams
dude?
literally dropped the Shams tweet like mid podcast while we were doing our Spider Man. Yeah,
Well, I'm
Denver.
glad you didn't bring that up. That would have thrown me completely off the topic that we were discussing last time.
Yeah. Breaking: Cleveland, Denver, and the Clippers have agreed on sending Peyton Watson to the Cavs of all places.
No, I think that was kind of expected because we were kind of wondering why James Harden was taking so long to sign, even after LeBron already had signed.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that makes sense. Max Strus is going to the Clippers, and then
Wow.
unprotected 31 Cavs first is and a 32 Kings second is going to the Nuggets. Watson will sign a 4-year, $88 million deal to join the Cavs with the player option in the final year. As part of the trade, the Cavaliers are also sending Trey Mann and the 2027 second rounder to the Clippers in cash to the Washington Wizards for Cam Whitmore, sources says. The Wizards are also sending Julian Reese to the Nuggets, who will waive Reese off his two-way deal. I didn't read the Wizards part.
That's the way for the Nuggets to save some more money on their books. But
Yes.
it also like the trade of Watson itself. First of all, that's a pretty good deal for Peyton Watson. I think
Yeah.
the Cavs got a bit of a bargain, and also like Denver. I mean, stupid. You need to spend it in the second apron and do what you can to surround a generational talent like Nikola
Right.
Jokic. But
Right.
that's in the rear view. Like if you are going to lose Peyton Watson, they did very badly need to rebuild some sort of draft equity, and getting those two picks, is at least something.
I mean, it sucks that they used the money they would have gone to Peyton Watson on Christian Brown last offseason.
Dude, that was the worst contract. That was the thing that they fucked up. They fucked up the Christian Brown resigning is where they
Yeah.
because like Christian Brown was a fine guard who is probably not a starting guard on most teams, who can't create his own shot, doesn't shoot
Mhm.
that great from three, and is just like was uniquely suited because he can run that fast break and he can get
Yeah.
benefit off of Jokic passes, and he plays enough defense on a team that is desperate for perimeter defense.
Yeah.
But they vastly overvalued him. I
Yeah.
mean,
a
he's
hundred percent.
yeah.
Um. Honestly, man, you know what? We should probably save that for its own separate thing. You know what? Instead, why don't we talk about the Christian Brown level of team that's being sent off to Doomsday to fight Doctor Doom and the new trailers? Why don't we do that instead?
I
Because that
think
was on D23.
that's part of D23 stuff, so I can definitely pivot into that for sure.
Yeah, you do you got stuff for that? I don't. I'm not ready, but like
You know
I
what?
can take that
I
away.
have spent quite a bit of time thinking about Doomsday. I think some of it spins out of some of the things we discussed during Brand New Day.
hmm
Doomsday is a bit of, I mean, if we're gonna go to the critiques, some of them are pretty honestly accurate. It
hmm
is a bit of a nostalgia grab, and Marvel going back to the well of pulling out their old characters instead, and kind of just abandoning what they were building with their new ones. And you think
Yeah.
that them in a move of desperation. Is this even going to be good? I mean, part of the desperation is them pivoting even to go back to their old directors with the Russo brothers back.
Yes. Yeah. Now, not only that, they pivoted away from Jonathan Majors and King the Conqueror as the big bad. Whether
Something
it was
I was like a little conflicted on, just because of what he was accused of and like the history of like
Mhm.
kind of like black men not getting the sort of second chances that like the white actors do with, like,
yes,
Robert Downey
yes,
Jr. did. But now, having seen Jonathan Majors work since his, what honestly people were I think really primed, especially in the community, in the black community, and in
Mhm.
minorities in general. I certainly was more inclined to want to give him a chance at redemption.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
having seen the way he has pivoted and has been using his sort of comeback, I think we're good with moving way on from
right.
Jonathan
I
Majors.
mean, okay, before we get into Doomsday stuff, I because I don't think we've ever
Jonathan
unpacked this
Majors done
conversation.
pissed me off. I'm gonna light this up.
Yeah, let's light one up. Let's smoke one up for Jonathan Majors. Um, the character of Kang the Conqueror, I felt like they could have easily pivoted and like with the whole multiverse stuff and variants, like looking
I
completely
never
different.
really understood
Why didn't they
why.
just do that?
Well, not only that, I never understood why, when you have Kang and his like multiple variant characters who are also Kang but not Kang, they're other characters.
Hmm.
Why are you using the same? And this was way before anything with Jonathan Majors went bad. I was not happy that they were using Jonathan Majors as the same actor, because let's be real, dude. Kang is a very niche comic book sort of thing, right?
Yes, he
Right.
is.
So
He is.
like the general public was not going to know that Immortus and Kang the Conqueror and Iron Lad, and like that they're all the same person. So you could cast different people as those characters, and only us nerds would ever know that that's the same
Right,
character.
right.
This reveal is coming, you
And
know?
honestly, I always thought that didn't make much sense because I mean it makes sense for Jonathan Majors, like he
Right.
just kind of like I think he had it worked into his deal was that if he gets to play Kang the Conqueror, he plays every variant of Kang the Conqueror,
But that shouldn't have been
which
the deal. Those characters don't even look alike. They're
no,
not even supposed to
no,
look
because
alike.
if you look at
That's
like
thousands of years
Ramatut
later.
and Immortus, night
Right.
and day, night and
Night and
fucking
day,
day.
Ramatut and Immortus, and because they don't look alike, because in the comics these characters were not originally supposed to be the same
Yeah, no,
character.
no, they just kind of like weave them
Yeah,
together into
it was
being
it
that
was the beauty
continuity.
of like comic book retcon storytelling to make something cooler, and they tied
It's,
it all
and
together.
especially with them introducing Reed Richards and Fantastic Four, first steps or whatever the subtitle was of
Yeah.
that film. He's a descendant of Reed Richards, Nathaniel Richards. Like Kang the
Yes.
Conqueror. That would have
Hmm.
been fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't understand why they didn't do that, especially when you see stuff in like Deadpool and Wolverine, where you see Chris Evans
Right. They look
reprising his
different.
Johnny
Right. The
Storm.
different variants look different.
Right,
They're
right.
yeah.
And then now that
And in
kind of leads
Spider-Man, we just saw two Spider-Men who are
we
clearly
just
different.
two different Spider-Man that are also Peter Parker. Exactly, dude. Exactly. And then now we're in the situation where again we don't really know. Like Victor Von Doom looks a lot like Tony Stark from the MCU. Like
Let's save that bit for a little bit because I have a little bit to talk about on that.
no. Yes, yeah. I'm
But you're
just
right. You're right.
correlating all that
No, yeah,
together.
you're right. And also, like, again, even if they had wanted to simply keep on with Kang, even if they didn't do it in the first place, they could certainly have done that and just had him look different because he looks different. Like, they could totally
Yeah.
have moved on from Majors and kept Kang, and kept Immortus and kept Ramatut and kept Iron Lad and kept all those versions.
Here's the thing too. The Quantumania happened like in the timeline, the order of events. That's before
Loki.
Loki season 2.
Hmm.
So that would have been the situation where after Loki takes over, he who remains his place at the end of time and just creates the new sacred timeline, which is now like a tree or whatever, reminiscent of Norse mythology. Now maybe that just changes the appearance
Yeah,
of
it's a
King the
multiversal
Conqueror.
tree. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
It could
multiverse.
yeah, it could totally have changed his appearance. It would.
And it's a totally in canon
And
possible
brother, they moved
explanation.
on from a character before. They moved on from Ed Norton as the Hulk, didn't explain it. They moved on from War Machine they moved on from to Don Cheadle, and Don Cheadle just said, "I'm here, deal with it." I mean, it's so simple.
Right. It was like they handled it almost in a very similar way how they handled Aunt Viv in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air after Nikki is born. That's kind of how they did it.
I was not expecting that. That was good. No, that definitely yes.
Yeah. They that's how they handled Rhodey in the MCU and in Iron Man 2. There's like, oh, this is the new Aunt Viv. Deal with it. You know, that's and you know. With this whole multiversal stuff, they could have gotten away with it, and that would have been way more better than Mobius just kind of like writing it off. Oh, it looks like he got taken care of in 606 adjacent realm. You know, like this was supposed to be one of
granted,
the big bads.
they could bring it back later, but it's kind of sad that they didn't go in a more creative direction like that. However, I will pivot to the fact that despite them bringing back Robert Downey Jr. and now pivoting to Doom and not setting up Doom that much before this, other than that sort of Fantastic Four First Steps kind of like cameo-ish, because you just see the mask, and the hand. They don't really set up Doom the way they were setting up Kang. However, and it does look like Robert Downey Jr. is that sort of nostalgia grab of like, this was our guy, this is our moneymaker. We're just going to go back to this well again, and run it dry. I will say, in that special look, I mean, in the initial teaser trailer, and now more of him speaking in the special look, which I don't know why they call it a special. It's just another trailer. It's just, it's clearly just what special look. It's teaser trailer. What are you talking about? It's a 2-minute trailer. It's exactly what a trailer is. I don't understand. All right, special look, I guess. But I will say, Robert Downey Jr. is really giving this his actors all.
Oh my
he sounds awesome. He does not sound.
On the first Doomsday trailer, when I heard his Laverian accent, I was like, that's so good.
I didn't believe it was him at first. I was like, oh, this is some other character talking.
Right. I was like, maybe it's RDJ there, but like maybe someone else is voicing, but like, ooh, goddamn. Like, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm in. You know what? Yeah, I'm in. You know what? I'm invested.
In this special look, so stupid. Those shots. Get upset every single time you mention special. I'm probably gonna get upset every time. I'm gonna give some sort of snide comment while I'm saying it. I can't help it.
Gonna roll your eyes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, say something under my breath. You're gonna have to turn the volume way up to hear what I said. But exactly. Those close-ups they have with his eyes and the mask, like he's giving it his all. He has the look down, dude. I mean, through a mask where you can only see the character's eyes, he's nailing it. He is nailing it.
I would love to see a clean cut RDJ play Victor Von Doom, because every iteration either has like the little soul patch right here on the bottom, or is clean shaven that I've seen.
Right.
Well,
you know what I would love? I would love if he never shows his face. If he totally commits to this Doom thing and never shows his face.
Because in the comics, especially in some continuities, Victor Von Doom doesn't unmask as Dr. Doom.
Nope, he does not do it.
Because of his grotesque face. He doesn't.
In fact, I remember, if I remember correctly, the original Secret Wars, the like 1984, 86, whatever, when I read those comics, and I believe there's a moment in which he's unmasked, but they don't show it. Like, he has his back to like the panel.
You know what? They should do that. They should definitely fucking do that.
Yes.
I would love to see that.
They should tease it where like you think you're going to see his face, but you don't. That would be great.
Right. But here's the thing. I think whether or not we see the face, I think the characters on screen should see that he looks
at some point
like Tony Stark. Yeah, at some point.
Maybe.
Especially someone like Thor should definitely see. Or Hulk should definitely see,
because it's probably going to be a plot point that he looks like.
It has to be. Right? It has to be, honestly. And
I will say though, he's playing it so well that if they don't do that and they just pretend like it's not, it's not him. He's doing it well enough that I'd be totally down with that. Like, as if he's just a random actor they cast as Doom, and then you don't have to do all that. I'm okay with that.
What if RDJ isn't even under the mask? There's like a body double, and he's just like voiceover work, And it's easy to do with the mask on because there's not
Right.
like any lip movement or anything like that.
I did recognize his eyes. Those were his eyes. He did
Okay.
pretty well. Yeah,
Well, okay.
He did well.
Speaking of the eyes, like I've been seeing a lot of people commentate that there's two Dooms and that RDJ is playing the fake Doom because there's two different shots of the eyes, and then they're claiming that it looks different. To me, it's just like I don't fucking know. I don't see enough to be like it's different. I mean, it could just be a different angle. It could be different lighting. It could be I don't fucking know. It could be just like aging up a character from like one point to the second point in the movie. I don't fucking know. Yeah, I don't
Yes, the brief glimpses I saw, I thought they looked the same, but I could be wrong. I mean, to me, it looked the same. I mean, you got Doombots also possibly. So
yes,
yes, it's. I think the special look was pretty cool. The voiceover stuff, So I had a bit of in addition to the reticence I had about bringing back these same characters and kind of playing this out again with the original MCU characters, original Avengers cast, I was reticent about the Russos because while they were great, right, they're kind of like post Infinity War content. I think has been a little kind of subpar, and they were
including
kind
Endgame.
Yes, because Endgame, while I liken it a lot to No Way Home, in that it is an amazing spectacle, a wonderful fan experience and theater experience,
Yes, it was.
and not as solid as a film. Like if
it doesn't have a lot of substance to go off of, like as the years go on.
Right. If you
Without
go
that
back
wow factor the first time viewing experience.
right, if you take away the spectacle of it, right?
Yeah.
So I was pretty reticent about that, and I was like, I kind of want to give a new directing team, whatever, a shot at this, and see if they have something original to bring. And I also didn't like. I mean, in the previous iteration, when the Russos directed the big, starting with Civil War, which they did great. There is that thing about the MCU and their toned down muted colors and the sort of way that the it's shot, and the fact that, and then we talked about in the Spider-Man review about like how well Dustin Cretton, I'm
You'll
gonna
get
screw
it.
that up
You'll get it one day.
eventually. How well he used not just colors but like the lack of color and like shadows and blacks. And I was watching the first look again right before we recorded now, the special look of Doomsday, and I did notice that they did use the Russos in these shots, at least. They did use more shadow, more black, and they did use it to contrast colors at some point. And I'm hoping they allow that back into their filmmaking in sort of like gradations of color and shadow, and playing with that and having it look more like a film.
Because the thing that stood out to me in the first trailer, not the special look, was the scene with Cyclops.
Yes.
In his standard, like bright yellow and blue, classic comic or accurate suit.
Which, like, thank God. Like, again, what a cool thing for these guys to finally be able to put on the costumes.
Yeah. No. I'm excited for that because I
love
felt
James
like
Marsden, by the way. Like, he's love the guy.
Like, I thought he got a disservice, and Scott Summers Cyclops got a disservice in the first X-Men films, because Cyclops is just a dude, and then like he's the leader of the fucking X-Men. Like, I know Wolverine is like the face of like the X-Men and maybe even like the big three of Marvel, but like Cyclops is the leader.
Right. And I like the fact that you gave Wolverine those points of being able to pick on Scott. But Scott is also supposed to be, like you said, the leader. He's cool, and they didn't give him any of those
I felt
opportunities.
like he was just like kind of lame, unfortunately, and that's no disservice to the actor. It's just the way the character was written. And I would, and again, even in like first class, in that iteration of X-Men, I don't think they've done a really good job, and they've done nothing but disservice to that character. And I kind of hope they redeem him here.
Contrast that with X-Men '97, man, which, like, he is in season 2. It's
Mhm.
so cool because he's using his powers in these unique ways to like move around the room. He has that one in the first episode of actually season 1 of the first episode of the show
Yes, yes,
overall,
yes.
where like he's landing and he uses his optic blast, like all the flyer the jet is blown up and like all the flying characters save everybody except Cyclops, and he says great job team, and then he just like takes care of it himself despite
Right.
the fact that he's falling from the air. He uses his optic blast to like blast down and kind of slow
Yeah.
his descent. I mean, you got
No,
to
no, I
do
love it.
cool stuff like that.
Okay, okay. Hold on, hold
Yeah,
on. We're going into X-Men territory, and that's its own separate
that's
episode.
definitely its own
Hold
thing.
up.
That's
Yeah,
definitely its own thing.
let's circle back to Doomsday. And the
Right.
reason why I mentioned Cyclops is because those bright colors and how it can contrast to that specific shot where like the explosion and all that other all the gray and the darkness around it was
Right.
like working well with it. I thought that worked well. And then also too, you kind of see it in that fight scene in the first trailer when you see Gambit versus Shang-Chi, and you see that with Channing Tatum's Gambit's costume, where it looks very like I don't know if very similar to like his Deadpool
I think
attire,
so. I think so.
but I think they're circling back since we never got Gambit in the original X-Men films that this is the Gambit that was supposed to be in that universe, and it
Right.
just like belongs in there. I also did love seeing like a more comic accurate Mystique costume. I have to
Yes,
see
and
more
she
of
can.
it.
Yeah, finally. I mean, that's why you can get Rebecca Romaine back, right? Because you can be like, "Hey, man, you can wear clothes." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, you don't have to be like naked and like blue
and
scales and
sit through
stuff.
that makeup chair. Like, you still have to sit in the makeup chair, but now we don't have to do your entire body, which is ludicrous. Like,
Yeah,
yes, have her wear clothes, right? And I mean, part of her thing is why wouldn't, even if she's not wearing clothes, she can change her thing to make it look so, right? Like she's
right.
got that adaptability. So yes, you're right. Comic accurate. It looks cool, man. She's got the white dress on. Like, it's awesome. I
I,
love it.
I've been excited about that ever since. And dude, we keep going into X-Men, but that's because we're getting X-Men. I mean, you see
Right. This is going to
Charles.
be part of that old X-Men brought back, which is
Yes.
honestly like I knew they had me because they did that. I'm like as down as I would have been, even if I didn't love like all the stuff we're talking about Robert Downey Jr. and the way the
Hmm.
filmmaking so far looks, I would still have just been in because man, I've wanted this X-Men versus Avengers for so long,
Yes.
right? And I'm so in just based on that. Like it's and yet they are making the other stuff not ancillary but the primary
Mhm.
filmmaking, characters, villain, all of that kind of way more attractive to me the more we see of this.
100%. And then you even look at like the characters of this new Fantastic Four that are also being integrated somehow. I'm curious to see how the plot is going to integrate all these different characters and what the motivation and reason for all their interactions are. Obviously, it looks like we're going to be dealing with incursions at some point. I don't know if he was on that casting chair like row, but I'm assuming at some point Doctor Strange has to show up because they address incursions at the end of Multiverse
Right.
of Madness, and I haven't seen him in anything. So that's one thing that I'm curious about. We'll talk about that because I there's been some fan theories as to Doctor Strange in Doomsday as well, but with Fantastic Four, I like how they contrast differently to all the other characters in MCU 606. 61
Yes.
616, sorry, not 606. That's the podcast. But I do like that contrast. The only character that I'm a little iffy on, and that's just me nitpicking here, because I just love the first original iteration in his introduction in Wakanda Forever, was Namor.
Yes.
He has a different look.
Does he? I didn't really notice
He
quite as
has
much.
more of a, it's more like almost like a full body thing going.
Okay.
And then
Oh, I see what you're saying. He's wearing that whole thing on when he's like sitting on the throne, right?
yes, yes. So like is that like what he's gonna be mostly in the entire
You know
film?
that they show that little flying sequence of him flying around. Is he wearing all that during the flying
I can't
sequence?
recall at this moment in time, and we can't like put a
Yeah,
pause and go check it out.
right.
But I love the costume and everything that he had in Wakanda Forever. I
Agreed.
thought it was fantastic. You know,
that was one of the coolest reimagined or adaptations of a character like
Hmm.
on screen, I think, like and like of Atlantis also.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
without it actually being Atlantis as well.
Right,
So like
right.
they
That
did their
too.
own way of doing it because obviously,
Even though like in my head, I still do, I've always called him Namor. He's Namor, right?
yeah,
That's how I've always read it. But like the way they explained Sinamor and and like he's Namor because of that, man, that
yeah.
was so cool. You can't beat that shit, man.
Bro,
Like
like one of the things that I kept like repeating for like months was like my people call me Akulkulkan,
yeah.
but my enemies call me Namor. I was like, bro,
Yeah, no, bro,
oh
that's so
man.
cool. Yeah.
Like I didn't knew much about Neymar in the comics. Like I knew of him and stuff like that, but I didn't knew enough about him to explore him. But what they did with that character in the MCU, similar to what
Yes.
they did with characters like Iron Man and Thor and Black Widow and others, they did their interpretations, their adaptations, and they forced you to go and search out more of the source material and check that out. Now I'm like, not Neymar, I didn't know about, but Namor, I'm all about it, man.
Yes, exactly.
Especially because they
Dude,
kind of like they,
no,
they,
go
they
ahead, go
kind
ahead.
of like got it with like Aztec and Mesoamerican,
Yes,
indigenous.
what a great way to tie that sort of stuff in and like make him his own unique thing and so
Hmm.
clearly different from Aquaman in that way, even though he
Yes,
predates Aquaman by quite a
he
bit.
does
But
predate Aquaman, but also like this was right after the second Aquaman film, so like I guess they were trying to not make the people that don't know the difference make it feel, oh, that's just Aquaman for the MCU. They
right.
try to give him his own unique take and
And they did a
origins
very cool very
in a
cool.
great
I even
way.
loved it when you said that. I always think of M'Baku in Wakanda Forever
Yes.
saying they call him Kukulkan. I just fucking love that. I love the way he delivers that
Oh my
line.
god. M'Baku is one of my favorite characters of all fucking time.
I do,
Like,
honestly,
ah
honestly.
man, he's great.
Winston Duke, man, just killing it. I
Yes,
love that
he's
actor,
fantastic.
dude.
You bold headed demon. Like one of my favorite lines.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
great. They gotta throw him in more stuff, man. He's so good on
yeah, he's
screen.
gonna be in Doomsday.
Yes, he will be in Doomsday.
But
So
here's another dynamic. I don't know if they'll explore it or not, but the possibility is there because Neymar is going to be in the film, and now we have Sue Storm in the MCU. There's
oh,
a little
dude,
bit of a
yeah,
love
love triangle
triangle.
stuff. Oh, they got to. They
Yes,
have to. They
right.
have to. They have to.
You have to.
They have to make a little thing of them flirting. They have to make
Mhm.
a little joke. They have to have Reed be a little jealous. They have to. At least that much. At least that
Like
much.
it doesn't have to be like reciprocal between Sue and Neymar, but
Right.
Neymar definitely has to be trying to court
Yes.
Sue.
There has
I
to be
want
at
to
least
see
a
that.
little bit. A little bit at
You know,
least.
you know, do the Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey thing.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
totally.
just
Totally.
just do that on
100%.
like let that be like its own little like mini side thing that's happening in the midst of all of these incursions. I
Right.
would love to see that. I've seen people and fan speculation that like the scene where like the water looks kind of like it like Moses parting of the Red Sea, like maybe that's Sue Storm like creating that.
Oh, yeah, she can make a bubble around it. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah. So she has that power. So hey, listen. At least we know if that does become a reality, we do know for a fact, and we can confirm that MCU Sue Storm has a type, and it's Latinos.
Yeah, now that we see Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
Speaking of
Pedro.
which, dude, Pedro Pascal confronting Doom there, that was a pretty cool
Oh my god,
sequence.
that was one of the favorite lines. Like, did you do this? Did you? Oh my god.
Yeah, Victor, did you do this? Yeah, it was cool. Man, it's so cool having an actor of Pedro Pascal's caliber also like in the MCU. And to now have a
Yes,
chance to like play him off of Robert Downey Jr. is pretty dope. Like I do love that.
it's
Uh
gonna be fantastic. No pun intended.
yeah. Oh man, that pun should have been intended. That was pretty good. I like it. I like it.
But dude, it's just like honestly, like I've always loved Pedro Pascal, and I wasn't really sure who he would play in the MCU. I did not think Reed Richards,
Right. That's not who you would have thought at all, like
but you know what?
normally.
I'm not mad at it.
No, his version of Reed is pretty cool. I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and his interpretation of Reed Richards in First Steps is kind of very very close to what the character is in the comics. He thinks of every worst case scenario, almost very similar to Tony Stark and like post the first Avengers and like
Right.
dealing with that whole war with Loki in the Battle of New York, like just having that PTSD
And to
and
the
thinking
point
the
where he
worst.
doesn't understand quite like how it affects his relationship with other people, you know?
Yes, and in the comics, that's how we get the Council of Reeds
Yes.
because he chooses to like surround himself with other variants of himself, thinking that he's the only person that can go ahead and like do what must be done and fix everything in the
And it sets
multiverse.
up all kinds of later blowback in like the Jonathan Hickman Fantastic Four stuff and Secret Wars and all that. But like,
Yes.
yes,
So
I do love that.
listen, man. Like I feel like the more we talk about it, the more excited I get, and it's nothing
I
that
know.
Marvel is doing. It's
I know.
mostly just us, like
It
just
is it
like
is us exciting ourselves about it. I will say, like,
well,
there
pop.
was cool stuff. Yeah. It was cool stuff. Yeah, exactly. In this special look.
Just you
That
said
was
that
cool.
with such a reluctant tone.
I it is
Special
what it
look.
is. Um, but I will say there was one bit that gave me pause, and it goes back to this director thing. Like when we talked
Hmm.
about Dustin Daniel Cretton in Spider-Man and Shang-Chi, and what he did
Hmm.
well in having the battles not be in the sort of wasteland.
Yeah,
And that moment with Doom is in a wasteland. And even with Thor versus Doom, it is in a wasteland.
yeah,
And I do
yeah,
not like why do these film companies who make films professionally,
yeah.
why do they keep thinking that this is how the films look good when all consensus is this is how they look like crap? Like, why do you
The
film these
the
climactic moments in these brown or gray or yellow
I
wastelands?
mean, that's kind of what was the climax of Endgame.
It
Was that
was. It was
big giant?
entirely. It was one reason I think Endgame really doesn't hold up real well when you look back at it. It's so blah to look at in a moment that is so epic and so
It's
like
very epic, and there's just too much dull there.
there's all dullness. I mean, you have these diverse characters and you do want them to pop, but you want them to pop against something, not nothingness, right?
That's
And
true.
it's
That's true.
Endgame is it's so weird. You can't even tell where it's occurring because it just seems to be like
That's
it seems
supposed
to
to
be
be
on Mars.
directly
Like it's
exactly.
taking place on Venus or
Yeah,
something, you know?
exactly, dude. And it literally was just in the Avengers like compound or whatever the fuck it's called in the MC or
Right.
whatever. Like their
Like
place
Infinity
of
War
like,
took place in the forest and in Wakanda and in the forest, and at least there was like you're taking place the scene you're watching is
mhm,
happening in a place that is purportedly real. I still think the use of CGI really diminished the weight we felt as we
mhm,
talked about in Spider-Man, but at
mhm.
least the background and like the stuff is occurring in a place,
Yeah,
in an identifiable place, right? That is
right.
identifiable as a real as Earth, you know.
Yeah.
Like this thing is it could be an asteroid.
Like
Like
it looks like something off of an anime, like in Dragon Ball Z, when they just like let's go look for this
right,
wasteland,
yes.
and like
Do you know what it reminds me? We'll go back to Power Rangers. You know how there's always these Power Rangers battles and they occur and they're like right outside the city or something, but
now
it's
they're
like
in the
weirdly
wasteland. They're in the,
desert. It's like
yeah,
desert or whatever.
except for when they go into their Megazord fights, all of a sudden they're fighting in the city, but like
Right. But you were just in the desert, like in a like a weird, like rocky, like cliff
make
or
it make
something.
sense, man. Make it make sense.
Right.
Listen, you're right because aside from like the scene where they're in the new Avengers Tower with the new Avengers, the old Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and they're all just kind of having like that team meeting
Right.
where Thor is doing a horrible job at trying to rally the troops. It's like
Yeah. He's
I,
demoralizing the troops for real.
I've lost better friend. I've lost better men.
He's like, not only
To,
are we likely going to lose, but the ways I've lost before are with better people than you. Is basically what he's saying.
and those opponents didn't scare me as much as this dude scares me.
Right.
It
Right.
was like so you're saying that you're more afraid of this guy, and the other dude's lost to lesser villains. So what the
Right.
fuck chance do we have?
Right.
That's like that that to quote How I Met Your Mother and Barney Stinson, that's like when he tries to like set up Marshall. It's like go up there and think you could do it, even though you probably can't.
Yeah.
But you have
Exactly.
to think like you do, even though you
Yes.
don't have a chance. So you're just
Right.
like horrible pep talk. Horrible pep talk. That's like
100%.
something Darvin Ham would do with the Lakers back in the day.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Oh my god.
Very bad.
So besides that scene in Avengers Tower and the one scene in Xavier's mansion where they're doing the fights where you see Yelena versus Mystique, and
Which is
Gambit.
very cool. And you see Elena's face when Mystique changes into her. Like that was
oh
cool.
my god.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that. That's probably one of the most excited fight sequence I'm ready to see.
The one you were about to mention is the one I'm even more excited for. It's so stupid, but it's so awesome. Like Gambit versus Shang-Chi with the purple colors and the rings and the cards.
Right.
And like, dude, Channing Tatum is having a blast. I love it.
Oh, dude, he's living his best life right now.
Yes,
honestly, like good for him. Good for him.
Honestly,
I'm glad he's got to live his dream.
Yes, I'm very
Gambit.
happy.
I'm glad we're not getting a solo Gambit film because I don't think I want to see that. No. But let him play Gambit in this like one-time stint.
Second time technically, but yes.
Yes, technically. I heard he's gonna dial back the Cajun accents.
Probably because this is gonna be a different Gambit, you imagine.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more serious. Can't be.
That shit was funny as hell, though. It was perfect for Deadpool. That was
for
hilarious.
Deadpool. It was great. For Deadpool, it was great. And Deadpool's another film that hasn't held up with time.
No, it's spectacle and theater experience over like the film itself, right?
Which again isn't Deadpool in this? And I haven't seen Deadpool shown in anything.
I don't believe he is. Ryan Reynolds the only reason that I think he is because Ryan Reynolds keeps making those appearances at like Comic-Con and at D23.
No, but wasn't Ryan Reynolds' name on one of like those
I don't think it was.
chairs?
I don't believe it was.
I gotta go back and see who was on there.
I don't think him or Wolverine are in this.
I think they have to be.
The only reason I think that we might actually see them is because of those videos where they keep trying to convince Kevin Feige to put them in the movie. Is the only reason I think that they are actually in the movie, because they're trying too hard to convince us they're not.
Yes. It's kind of like when they were trying really hard to convince us that Wolverine wasn't in the film until it got officially leaked, and then they just announced it as Wolverine,
right?
And Deadpool. Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
It would be pretty cool, though, if they can pull it off without them, and then they bring them in for like a bigger pop, right, in Secret Wars.
Or maybe they show up at the end after Battleworld has been created, and now it's Secret Wars.
Right, like the tag, the credits tag or something. Yeah.
I mean, there were reports that like two prominent actors were having a disagreement, and it was rumored to be RDJ and what am I trying to blank on his name? Ryan Reynolds. So and that supposedly their scenes specifically together had to be reduced or like non-existent at all.
I wonder.
So if we do see Deadpool, I don't think we'll see him interact with Doom at all.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I do think again, I'm okay. I do think I would think that they're not in this, but the fact that they're trying so hard to make it seem like they're not in this is the only reason why I now think that they are. So
seeing the OG X-Men cast just makes me want to see Hugh Jackman be in a more serious adaptation of his Wolverine character, because like it was great to see him in the yellow and blue.
Really great.
And especially
but now you want to see him in the brown and orange, right?
Brown and orange, but just more serious.
Right.
Just in the less comedic. Like
it could happen if it doesn't happen here. It could happen in Secret Wars. Like we could have that like Captain America, Wolverine sort of like shared World War II history finally.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, speaking of Captain America, like he's back in this film. So
it is again another
America,
one of
though?
Yes, that's the thing. It's another one of those things, right? Where we're like, okay, this is another play on the same old formula. On the other hand, maybe they're doing something very interesting with it. Maybe this is not the same Captain America. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is, but it's not how we expect him to be. It could be any number of things.
Yeah, because Thor was very confused. I'm like, it can't be, and then releases Mjolnir, and like Cap's able to like call it and come to him
Right.
and just hold it.
You know what? Also, that wasteland sequence, I kept trying to. I remember in the first trailer, I kept trying to figure out what that statue was, but in the special look, I did. I believe it's Cap. I think that statue that's in the background of where
Mhm.
Thor lands to confront Doom, and Doom flies out of that like Avengers Tower waste or whatever, or helicarrier or whatever it is, where they meet. I think that statue in that what the rest of it is a wasteland is
Mhm.
Captain America, because I think I see a shield. It looks like Cap, like the rest of
Okay.
him. So
Sorry, abrupt cut there. Technical difficulties. Yeah, we were talking about Captain America's statue. Maybe saw a shield. I don't know. Like, I guess that's the big question here, Bosch. Is this really Captain America? Is this really Steve Rogers? Is it a different version? Some people are
right,
saying maybe it's the version of Steve Rogers that stayed with Peggy Carter and lived his life and like had a kid because he's holding the baby in the first trailer. No.
right. Yes, that's a good point. I totally forgotten about that. But they had those little four teasers that were like they're not even teasers. They were like 30-second clips of either
Yes,
the
yes. Like they
X-Men will
released like six of
return.
them. There's like
Right, the X-Men will return, the Wakandans I think will return, and like stuff like that. The Captain America will return, whatever it is. And
mhm,
yes, and Thor will return. And Thor was in the woods with his adopted daughter from
mhm,
Love and Thunder, and
yeah.
Steve was in his house holding the baby that he had with Peggy, you would assume.
Mhm.
So if that would be our Steve though, then because that'd be our Steve who went back to the past, stayed with Peggy, grew old eventually, and then met Sam and Bucky back in the
Right.
forest in Endgame.
It's just an older version of him, like a little bit more, like not a lot older, but like a couple years him
Right, him
living.
him from the past where he's had the baby, but not him from having lived through the entire past to become old and met our
Mhm.
characters back in the present.
So, like the reason why that's a thought as well, because prior to that, in the trailer, you see Loki, regular Loki, like the version that was in the Loki season 2, and then you see a shot of like a hand holding like a TVA card, like an ID card for Loki, and then you flip it around. This is post Loki season 2 because it has like the Loki timeline multiversal
Right.
tree in the back as the logo instead of whatever they had for like He Who Shall Remain. He Who Remains. I'm sorry. What if it's like that variant of Steve Rogers from that
Right.
time that goes ahead and finds that Loki key card, and then maybe Loki and Steve Rogers are interacting with each other, and then Loki, being the guy that's in charge of time or whatever, brings this past version of Cap into the Doomsday
Could be.
story
Could
arc.
Loki could definitely be like losing the TVA maybe because that room that Doom is in is
Mhm.
clearly his castle in Latveria, but it bears some resemblance to the castle from He
The
Who Remains, right?
Yeah, and also like the throne that Loki was sitting on
Right,
at the
right.
end when that was created. So I mean, one of the plots, obviously, for him to be this fearful of a villain to strike that big of a fear in Thor, who is one of the more cockier characters in the MCU, that wasn't afraid of Thanos even after he killed like and slaughtered a lot of his Asgardians. He was still very confident in himself, and like it kind of like I don't know when he has that pep talk or lack thereof pep talk with the new Avengers, whether that's before or after that first meeting we see where he tries to hit him
I
with
feel like it's probably after because I feel like what happens here's my interpretation of this so
mm,
far is universe Doom is somehow either taken over the TVA or has decided to do this incursion and consolidate universes, right? To
mhm,
gain power. And Doom has wiped out this other universe. And it may not even be like when Reed confronts Doom, could be that Doom is wiped out more than one, and Reed is confronting him after he's wiped out yet another universe, right? Maybe Toby's Spidey universe, or maybe an Unseen one, or the Fantastic Four one, or whatever, right? And he's wiped
Right.
out a universe, and Thor may be confronting him when he's wiped out. Clearly, I think the X-Men universe, based on the fact that Doom then raises the Sentinels back out from the ground.
Yes. But
Sentinels
like,
finally look like Sentinels, by the way, after all these
yes.
movies. Thank God.
Fucking
That's
tastic. Thank
yeah,
God.
that's
Because
cool.
I hated the Sentinels in like the second
Days of Future Past, I
Days
think
of Future.
Sentinels.
Oh,
Yeah,
I hated those. Those were
yeah,
fucking
look
horrible.
like plastic. They look like, man, they remind me of something. I, not a Roomba. It reminds me, like the look of those Sentinels, the sort of plastic and sort of
Yeah.
the way that they're shaped reminds me
Hmm.
very clearly. It's like ringing something in my head that
Yeah,
I've
but you
seen.
just can't put a
I
name
just
and you
right,
can't put a finger on it.
right.
So in the comics, how we get to Secret Wars is the Beyonders has this power. He creates this whole thing. Like I don't know the whole details of it, right? Because I've
Well,
never read the original version.
Well, there's complications because original Secret Wars is because there is a being from beyond our universe, therefore we call him the Beyonder, or they call him the Beyonder.
Hmm.
This happens because Marvel needs to sell toys for Mattel. I mean, sorry. This happens because the Beyonder is curious about our characters and what their motivations are, because he exists only as himself. His universe is just him. And
Hmm.
so he then like pulls all these interesting characters onto a world called Battle World, and he then watches them interact and whatnot. And that's how you get Secret Wars. Later Secret Wars, which this will probably take a little bit more of.
Yeah, they specifically said that they were going to go with the 2015 adaptation where like it's Doom, but regardless, Doom
Doom
takes
controls
the
it, and it's like, yeah, it's a consolidation of universes. Battle World is made up of a section of different universes, right?
yes.
Like, yeah, each part of the planet.
Yeah, so I think that would be the case in Secret Wars, but leading up into Secret Wars, regardless of the
Right, we
iterations,
have to get to that point.
we
Yeah,
gotta. And this is the story of us getting to Secret Wars and Battle World. I think we're gonna get Battle World in Secret Wars for sure, but I think the plot will be Doom taking Loki's powers that he achieved and got at the end of Loki season 2, which is why you no longer see him on his throne at the end of time. So,
right. I
and
think
maybe
that's a
that's
good.
why he's so powerful, and that's why Thor is so afraid of him. One of the reasons. I mean, he might be already powerful as is, but he might have been able to like collect those powers from Loki.
Right, right. Totally might be true. I think so. To me, beyond the fact that I hope that the destructed wastelands that we see are just the shots of the universe, and I hope like battles don't take too much place in that sort of wasteland. I hope they take a
Yeah,
lesson from Spider-Man and that they don't do that. But I don't know. We've been subjected to the wasteland battles quite a bit in
yes,
superhero movies,
unfortunately,
so we may have to
before.
just suffer through.
So we'll see.
Um, Regardless, clearly this movie has to set up Secret Wars,
Yeah.
right? And I think most people's interpretation of that is therefore the heroes lose at the end of the movie, like
Hmm.
Infinity War setting up
Right.
Endgame. I
Yes.
think that is not creative. I think that is what's the word? It's a cheat. It's an easy way out.
Hmm.
I think it would be much more interesting to me if the MCU heroes they definitely shouldn't die again, because that really cheapens it, like they did in
Right.
Infinity War. Um, Obviously, some people are going to die, but the en masse end of Infinity War is what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
where half of them go away.
Hmm.
And I don't even think they should lose, because you already see that coming because
Yeah.
of what the MCU's already done. I think it would be more interesting if it's a surprise loss. Like they win,
Hmm.
but their win is somehow something Doom had calculated in order for him to create Battle World.
Yeah. Uh, definitely would be an interesting thing because again, like the comparison is Infinity War going into Endgame, and yeah, you kind of have to do it where like you set up Battleworld. I mean, it could be a situation where maybe the Avengers themselves unintentionally caused the creation of Battleworld, like you
Right.
said.
Like it's
But
less interesting if it's a thing like Doom wins and the heroes are all sad at the end.
yes,
Whereas like because we already seen that and the audience, the global audience has already seen that happen, it's not going to be as captivating as it was in Infinity War, right?
yeah, because originally, if I'm not mistaken, it was because it wasn't originally Doomsday; it was the Kang Dynasty.
Hmm.
From what I read and scoured, was that supposedly it was supposed to be Kang the Conqueror and Kang Dynasty, and then Doctor Doom still gets introduced towards the like I guess the beginning of Secret Wars or at the tail end of Kang Dynasty, where they're able to defeat Kang, but Doom goes ahead and defeats, takes advantage of that and steals his powers. For all my Yu-Gi-Oh fans, there it's kind of like when Bakura stole the Millennium Eye from Pegasus after he lost to Yugi in Duelist Kingdom finals. If you got the reference, Bosh, I'm glad. If not, it's okay.
If that sounded like gibberish to you, listener, viewer, you're not alone. That was
Anyways, they could.
this is what I sound like normally when I'm talking Marvel stuff to people.
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Hopefully the listeners don't feel that way. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious as to how they're gonna do it. It should be like a contingency plan, similar to like Batman.
Yeah.
Like you think you won, but you actually didn't.
Right, right. Like everyone wins, they're celebrating, but like the tag, at the end of the movie is that Doom is actually like somehow gotten what he wanted out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I have to say about this.
I mean, you mentioned Spider-Man,
Yes,
and obviously there's the post-credit scene that we talked about with the Spidey Tracker app and how there's now a Spider-Man sighting in space. Obviously, before this film was supposed to take place in between Doomsday and Secret Wars to tease that Spider-Man is in Battleworld or in Secret Wars. Now it took place prior
before,
to
right,
before Doomsday. So, and then the issue here is that Tom Holland was recording and filming Brand New Day at the same time Doomsday was recording. Granted, he could still theoretically have recorded something for like a post-credit scene or like a minor addition later on.
right,
But there's been rumblings that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is going to be in this film,
right.
if not also Andrew Garfield's version. I'm only certain that Toby will be in here, and he'll be one of the ones that get killed off, or his universe gets encouraged. It loses in an incursion. Because
Right.
one fan theory was that the first incursion that we see at the beginning, where it's Charles and Magneto together, is that's actually a visual of Toby's universe and experiencing an incursion with that X-Men universe, and the X-Men universe having to make the tough decision of, because that's kind of like what happens in the comics to prevent incursions. Another group that was introduced in the multiverse of madness, horribly, mind you, the Illuminati have taken it upon themselves to go ahead and say that, well, it's better, we have to prevent incursions, we have to destroy another world,
Right.
kind of like it's for the greater good type of thing. And one of the members of the Illuminati is Charles Xavier, and we have seen that Magneto would be willing to make those kind of sacrifices, so are they kind of just like going through the motions? They're all, you see the wear and tear, they're like gone through who knows what. Maybe they're like the ramifications and like end effects of them having to pull off another, like, and in another universe to prevent an incursion, and maybe one of those universes is the end of the Toby Spider-Man universe.
Yes, that absolutely could be. I think it's going to be interesting to see. The beginning of this movie is most likely going to start with some
X-Men.
sort of, well, I think some sort of universe incursion event,
Yes,
destroying a universe,
because
right?
we need to be shown what is the worst possible outcome and the consequences if we let an incursion happen, to
Right.
kind of like
Set the
motivate and
stakes.
give
Yeah.
it credence and like to like Doom, and like it makes you kind of like similar to Thanos. Thanos in the comics was just trying to like kill all like of life with the Infinity Gauntlet to impress Death. But in the MCU's portrayal, he was just trying to like, it's like get rid of half of the universe, everybody lives. He was seeing himself as this martyr, you know, like as like this guy that was willing to make the sacrifice for the greater good, and that could be the very similar style of motivation for Doom here.
Right. Definitely could be. I think that's pretty good coverage of everything we think about Doomsday. There was some other MCU stuff also debuted or introduced. They announced a Ghost Rider. You know,
Yes,
they announced they gave a trailer for a long-awaited show that they've talked about a lot in Vision Quest. What would you like to
finally.
talk about? Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Let's talk about Ghost Rider because that's probably the one I have the least to add to.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I it's cool for Ghost Rider to be in. I'm sorry, what? Why am I blanking on his name? What's the actor's name?
Hold
Here,
up, I'm trying to blank on the actor's name
like
too.
he's a enormously famous. He was just the lead of Project Hail Mary, a great book,
He
by
was
the
just
way.
in
That
Barbie.
yes, thank you.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Fuck, where is
Ryan
it?
Gosling, thank you.
Ryan Gosling. God damn it.
All right, thank you,
Why
internet.
do we
That
struggle
was,
so hard
I
there?
don't know. I think I'm blaming it on the fact that I've been drinking this New
I
Glarus
I
two women lager the whole time
I have
that I
no
picked up in
excuse.
Wisconsin. So yeah,
I have
it's
no
pretty good
excuse, man.
stuff. Pretty good stuff.
Uh
But no, Ryan Gosling, who did a really good turn in Project Hail Mary. Um, Kind of funny that he played a weakling scientist while he's clearly not a weakling, but
mm,
it's fine.
yeah.
He did a good job. He you know, has been continuing, and I think apparently I didn't know this, but in the whole like build up to the announcement and reveal of him as Ghost Rider, apparently he's been wanting this role as Johnny Blaze for a long time, which I wasn't aware of.
I've read that. I've read that as well. I didn't knew that prior to the announcement. After the announcement, I kind of like did a little digging and I saw that myself. Listen, I'll say this. I don't hate it, nor am I a big fan of it because like Ryan Gosling is fine. I don't have like, but like I'm kind of like indifferent with him. Like he doesn't really move the needle for me. Like cool, like that's fine. Let's see what he does. You know,
Right, right.
but
I'm glad
also
they're. I think my take is I'm just glad they're bringing Ghost Rider to
yes,
you know, to the MCU.
but I'll say this too. Aside from Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider, my expanded knowledge on Ghost Rider is very slim to none. So like I'd be going in here with brand new eyes, similar to like when they introduced Neymar into Wakanda Forever. You know, like
Which I
let's
should mention, by the way, Namor is an original Marvel character. Like
yeah, and he's the first mutant.
he predates the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. He
Mm-hmm.
is a character who appeared in the very first, I think they might have still been called Timely comics. I mean, they
Yeah.
were the Captain America comics that were first
Mm-hmm.
the World War II era comics.
Yeah.
Namor is a part of a team called the Defenders, or sorry, the
Yes.
Invaders. The
Okay.
Invaders. That is like Captain America and Namor and the original Human Torch, who is an android who you see in a glass cage in like Iron Man 1 or 2. One,
Mm-hmm.
two, I think, in a sort of expo. So Namor is a character who's existed, and this is why we said earlier why I said he predates Aquaman. Namor has actually been around since before the Marvel universe. Like he was a part of Captain America's teams when there
Yeah.
were no other Marvel heroes other than those.
Yeah.
Human Torch, Namor, Captain America. So it's pretty cool for Namor to continue on this way, and it's also why, you know, DC's often copied actually Namor in how they rebrand Aquaman instead of the
Mm-hmm.
adventurous sort of fun-loving Aquaman, which I really like the
Mm-hmm.
version of in DC Comics. They sometimes try to make him, you know, this kind of darker, more like, you know, on the gray line, between
Hmm.
good and bad, because he's looking out for his people so much. And that's
Right.
really what they took from Namor, and that's how the character's always been. So I really like this version of Namor
Yeah.
in the MCU. And going back to Ghost Rider, there are three main modern Ghost Riders. There's Johnny Blaze, the classic, Ghost Rider, the motorcycle stuntman guy,
Hmm.
who Nicolas Cage played. And who Ryan Gosling is going to play, because they said he was Johnny Blaze, I believe.
Hmm.
There's Danny Ketch, who's the second one, who's like related to Johnny, but not like, I think he's like a nephew or something. I
Gotcha.
forget, but he's got like some of the best Ghost Rider stories. And then there's a modern Ghost Rider who, rest in peace to the actor, to Robbie Reyes, is Ghost Rider, portrayed by the actor Gabriel Luna, not Diego Luna from Andor, but Gabriel Luna, who was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I thought did a kick-ass job of portraying Robbie Reyes, a Latino American Ghost Rider who rides a car, is his Ghost Rider whip, instead of a motorcycle.
Okay.
He's really dope. His portrayal in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is awesome. His
Hmm.
first appearance in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season, I want to say 4, off of
Right.
memory, is cool as hell. I was for a long time really hoping that they would fold Gabriel Luna into the MCU, but it's been many years. We've probably moved beyond that. Maybe he makes like a spot appearance as
Right.
like the characters in Deadpool versus Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine did. But
Hmm.
we are going back to Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, and I don't have much more to say on this, except like the character obviously looks cool, has
Right.
like a cool concept, and has a following in comics ever since then because of that. And the fact that Ryan Gosling has always wanted to play this character is, I'd say, a positive sign. And like,
Right.
legitimately organically wanted to play his character, not because it was like brought up to him in an interview or
Hmm.
something. He's weirdly wanted to be Johnny Blaze for like
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
years.
This is the new Channing Tatum gambit.
Right,
Like.
exactly. That's a perfect comp. Yes.
Yes. Yes. That's kind of where we're at with it. Okay. So I guess we'll see. Like, am I going to go out of my way to watch it on release day in theaters? Probably not. I might wait. That might be a film that I wait for the Disney Plus release.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Um, I
I'll
guess it.
watch it in theaters because I'm a sicko. But I think the only MCU film I didn't watch in theaters was Thor: Love and Thunder. That might be the only
No, we
one.
went to theaters to go watch it.
Yeah.
I had high hopes for that, especially for Lady Thor.
So disappointing, man. Especially with Jane Foster Thor, and yeah.
And then they
And
had Gore the
moreover,
God Butcher
yes, thank you,
as a
Gore the God
fantastic
Butcher, an awesome character played by an
yeah.
awesome actor. You had so much more there.
Christian Bale, yeah. Oh man, they brought in Batman to be a Thor villain, and they just like,
Wasted him, man. Wasted
yeah,
him.
the potential was there for sure. I would have loved to see them. I think they just leaned too much into the goofiness. Like there was a
Yes.
balance. There was a balance in the third Thor film. What was it, Ragnarok?
Yes,
No,
Ragnarok was the third one. Yes.
yeah. So like there was a balance there, but I think they leaned too much into the comedy.
You know what's
Uh,
funny is there was a perfect Ragnarok is such a great film to even holds up on rewatch. I
mhm,
just feel like there's a lot of these directors, Taika Waititi, who's the director of both Love and Thunder and Ragnarok, has always had this Flight of the Concords, all this stuff. He's like a iconoclast. He's a very unique sort of like director, right? And he's always had this fandom, and it was so exciting to have him in charge of a series. But I think he's very good, I think, overall. However, there are like pitfalls like to certain directors, and I
mhm,
think when you compare his movies to someone like James Gunn, who gets a lot of shit, but I think when you look at a James Gunn movie that James Gunn actually directs, right?
mhm.
Like the Guardians movies, like the Suicide Squad, like
Guardians
Superman,
3. Guardians 3. Chef's kiss.
he does this perfect balance because he has this level of humor that's kind of similar to what Waititi's is,
Mhm,
but what James Gunn is not afraid of, and what he leans into, honestly, is he lets the emotional moments sit as emotional moments.
mhm,
And Taika, my criticism of his Thor Ragnarok would be, and his movies overall, would be Taika's so uncomfortable with those moments, being sincere and being emotional, that he feels the need to instantly undercut that moment with a joke,
Yeah.
you know. And as goofy as James Gunn can be, he's more content to let you sit with the uncomfortable moments, the
Mhm.
Rocket Raccoon torture scene, you know, uh,
God.
like he's really good with that. And
Yeah.
in the Suicide Squad, when like Polka Dot Man or Ratcatcher is about to die or whatever, right? Like he
Hmm.
lets you sit with these weirdly emotional moments and he lets them be emotional. Whereas Taika, like in Thor Ragnarok with the Asgardians, viewing the fact that their homeworld just got wiped out, feels
Hmm.
the need to undercut it instantly with a joke. And I just, Thor Ragnarok is an awesome movie, but it is why I kind of like prefer James Gunn's. It's why I really have a lot of reverence for James Gunn,
Yeah,
honestly,
no,
as a
I get,
director.
I no, and I totally understand that. I totally understand that. Um, yeah, so I guess we'll see what they'll do. We were originally talking about Ghost Rider. Uh,
Yeah, Ghost Rider quite a ways off. We'll see. All we know so far is Ryan Gosling is Johnny
I'll,
Blaze.
I'm gonna tap in. I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna check it out. But that's for me personally. Like I said, it's gonna be a Disney Plus like premiere viewing if I get to it.
Right.
Because now with the MCU stuff, there's been a lot of stuff that I haven't even touched. Like I haven't even touched Wonder Man. I haven't even touched Daredevil,
You
and
got to
Daredevil.
watch Wonder Man, man, because Wonder Man is, to me, if viewers, listeners, if you haven't watched Wonder Man and you are a fan of not just the action spectacle superhero movie, but if you're a fan of actual comic books or of like unique storytelling, I think Wonder Man is exactly what um, people like me have wanted the MCU on Disney Plus, the TV shows, to be for a
Mhm.
while,
Yeah.
because what they do something is not just take a movie idea and stretch it into a TV show like a lower budget thing. They take they're telling a character story. It's
Mhm.
quirky, it's weird. It's about this character Simon Williams as Wonder Man, Yahya Abdul Mateen playing Wonder Man as a dude who is like he's got this personality quirks. He's a little bit damaged, and all he cares about is acting. It's kind of like you look back, the flashbacks are like
Mhm.
explaining why he's so dedicated into just this thing. And
Mhm.
he's so weird. He's so weird. And it's because of how weird he is and how much he loves movies that he makes that friendship with the original fake Mandarin, Ben Kingsley's Mandarin,
Mhm.
and it is a delightful character story that is a self contained story. It's not trying to advance the plot of the Infinity Saga or the multiverse or any of this nonsense. It's not trying to introduce mutants or give you a superhero movie that doesn't have a big budget. It's telling a character story that is
Yeah.
weird. And I liken it to, if you've watched HBO's The Studio, Seth Rogen produced comedy.
Yeah.
Um, it's a cross between what The Studio would be in the Marvel universe, I feel like. And I think it is a brilliant story.
Yeah.
It's not, if you watch it, you're not going to be blown away. You're not going to be talking about it like you're talking about Shogun, you know,
Mhm.
like, oh my God, this is, but it is a delightful character story that doesn't require a movie or a movie budget told in a format that benefits it in TV. And that's kind of what I want the MCU to be. So I'm really
Yeah.
sad that Wonder Man, which should have
Won't.
had a second season, it won't be getting one.
No, no, unfortunately. But you guys should like. Bosch is doing a great pitch in selling
I
Wonder
hope
Man
so.
season
I
one.
hope so.
So go ahead and check it out. It's on Disney Plus if you have it. Check it out for sure, 100%. Another show that's coming out is Vision Quest. This is the last
Yeah.
thing. This is the last thing we got to talk about. We're getting
Yeah.
close to that 110 mark, so we're gonna not
Yeah,
spend
we'll
too
we'll
much
try to
time on it.
rush. We'll not rush, but we'll try to wrap up with our thoughts here on the
Yeah,
final things. I will on Vision Quest. It is the finale of what they're calling a trilogy. I don't think it was originally imagined this way, but the way it's played out, that's how it's
right.
been. A trilogy that started with WandaVision, the
Hmm.
original character story that I think was very, very well done up until that finale, which took too many MCU-ish
Yeah,
turns. But
yeah. Unfortunately.
overall, like an inventive, unique show that was pushing the boundaries of genre television.
Yeah.
And then it went on to Agatha All Along, a
Which
solid
I
entry.
have to check it out too. My wife's actually watched it. I have yet to tap
What does she
into it.
think about it? What does she tell you?
She liked it. She enjoyed
Okay,
it.
good, good.
Yeah. No, she likes it. That's one of the things that I kind of like. That she just kind of does it on her own. She's like, no,
Yeah,
I liked it. It was cool, and she just kind of has it as like a casual viewer. Like
right.
she's not like invested too heavily into the
Which is good
characters.
to know because that's who we want to get. In my vision of
Your
if
Vision
I were
Quest.
yeah, pun not intended that time. I usually plan out my puns. I'm very lame in my jokes, but that was not intended.
No,
Uh, but my vision of the sort of MCU future is more what you were saying. Your
mhm.
wife just watched it because she was kind of into that thing. She's not into
Yeah,
the whole MCU or everything, right? But or like every nook and cranny and like knowing everything. But
right.
my vision of it would be to cater to viewers who are into a certain thing. Like uh I would have a Marvel Cosmic sort of branch, right?
Yeah.
And I would not required viewing shouldn't be for people trying to watch a story about the Kree Empire or the Shi'ar or Silver Surfer
hmm
or Nova or whatever.
Guardians.
Right, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's Marvel Cosmic. If you're into the sci-fi space shit, watch
That's
this.
that.
If you're into this sort of sitcom stuff, then like I would spin off the sort of sitcom-y stuff like Wonder Man, She-Hulk sort of stuff. Wonder
hmm
Man is not like She-Hulk, but I think that they'd kind of land in the same sort of similar genre.
Yeah,
Um,
very similar.
or if you're into the sort of street level, kind of gritty, dark heroics, you have the Daredevil sort of universe, right?
Yeah, Daredevil, Punisher.
Right.
Somewhere like maybe even like mystical. Like you can have some characters that could like toe the line in both. Like
There are so
with
many.
Moon Knight would be perfect for street level and like
You're
mystical
right,
stuff.
both ways. There's so many fans of mystical fantasy stuff who are not fans of overall superhero stuff who would be drawn into like Agatha All Along or,
Or
you know,
properly do more Doctor Strange content, you know?
exactly, exactly. And so I would
Yeah.
rather have it go in those sort of things. And it's a lot like how comics are. Comics aren't, they want you to get you to read everything, right? So they do all these tie-in events, but they
Mhm.
know their core audience is into Spider-Man or it's into like this weird shit like Next Wave or
Mhm.
it's into like big superhero adventures like Avengers or it's into like weird supernatural shit like Blade and Ghost Rider and Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw this note. I imagine Ghost Rider is going to be a part of this. They're still going to do a Midnight Suns movie, which is kind of like the
Mm.
mystical street level of the
Yeah.
Marvel universe. And apparently, Marshala Ali's Blade is still going to be a part of that, even
I
though he's
heard he
not
was
getting a.
done. I heard he was done.
No, apparently he's not getting a Blade movie, but he's still playing Blade in Midnight Suns.
I mean, they can play off Black Knight like getting to like the whole scene at the end of Internals.
Right. But yeah, you
Yes.
can still do. Maybe there was a script. Maybe I'm gonna give Kevin Feige and that team a little bit more credit. Not because everyone's been trashing them and saying, how can you not get a movie about this dude in a trench coat killing vampires? It's all we want, and they can't seem to get that simple fact right. Maybe they just got script after script after script or pitch after pitch after pitch that they just felt wasn't up to par, but they're going to stick with the character in Midnight Suns because that's the script they like, and
hmm
I'll give them a little bit of benefit of
We'll
doubt
see.
on
We'll
that.
see. I'd be definitely interested in Midnight Suns, because that'd be something that my little sister Angie would definitely get into because she just like loves Daredevil. She loves Punisher. She Ghost Rider as well. Like all these like
And isn't that cool to have
yeah.
like properties that appeal to certain people, but you
hmm
don't have to watch every fucking thing to appreciate them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
That's
that.
100%. And like it's very similar to pro wrestling where like right now like you need to like there's like WWE, but they have their subgenres. You know, like they have Raw, they have SmackDown, they have NXT, and then now they have the AAA Lucha Libre side of things. And right now, everything is dog shit, or like a good 95% of everything is dog shit. And then there's like the glorious it is AAA Lucha Libre that is
Right.
like the best continuity there is. And thankfully, I don't really need to watch anything on anything else WWE related, and I can just watch my Lucha Libre.
And you can
So
still enjoy that without like having
yeah,
to
yeah,
tie in
exactly.
everything. And I
Exactly.
think that's great. So, I mean, did originally talk about Vision Quest. Going back to that, that's the end of this trilogy with WandaVision, which was an inventive, creative, really unique thing that launched
Yes.
the MCU during COVID. We all had like this unique moment with it, and it had Agatha all along. And now you get to continue this character story with the Vision. And to me, that trailer that is up right now, if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
It's really interesting.
It is really interesting, right? Like there's aspects of it because their Vision is essentially in his head, and he's got these people in his head that are
Former
Ultron,
AIs.
right? His,
So
the Jarvis, right?
Jarvis,
Which is
yes.
part of what created him,
Hmm.
part of his mix of his personality. He's got
Ultron.
Ultron, who is technically his father, James Spader, a great, great actor.
Hmm.
Um, I'm going to go back to the original Stargate movie and how much I love James Spader. Um, but yeah, he's got like he's living out this weird thing, and it's almost sitcom-y in that like the trailer is playing up these like goofy, funny moments with like
Yeah.
Ultron dropping like funny lines and shit.
But it
But
also looks like it has his serious tones and serious moments, which is what I like.
not just serious. I think it's gonna get weird, man. Like it
I
looks
think it might get
weird.
dark. I think it might get dark
Yeah,
by the end of it. Like
yeah.
similar to like WandaVision, like it starts off very campy and sitcom-y, and then by the end it gets very
It gets
dark.
really dark and really serious, and you
And
explore trauma.
uh I forget which was the son that took over the body of a dying child in Agatha. That
Right.
was I
That
can't remember.
was
Was it?
the witch. I forget what his name is.
Yeah, I'm trying to blank on his name, but it's like one of the kids, and then
Mhm.
it's revealed that the his brother is also out there, so that's going to be part in this Vision Quest. Uh, uh, is it a TV
Yeah, it's
series?
gonna be a Disney Plus series
It is.
coming out
Okay,
in
okay, cool.
October. Yeah.
Okay, cool, perfect. Looking forward to that.
Yes.
And what I like about this is that this White Vision is trying to put things together and figure out who he is without the Mind Stone as well. That's another
And
aspect
he's
of it.
he's also not the same Vision,
He's not
right?
the same Vision, but has the memories of the old Vision
Mhm.
based off of the concluding events at the end of it, WandaVision. So if you
Yes.
saw in WandaVision, Wanda was trying to like deal with her grief and created this fictional universe with her magic.
Right.
Now, if you see White Vision, he's doing something very similar. Like he has his own trauma he's working through, created his own fictional world, but it's virtual inside his own head.
Yes. I think
So
that's such a cool setup for storytelling. That could be
it's a very
I,
cool parallel.
I want them to get weird with it, man. I want them to be really like experimental in how they tell
Listen,
this story.
listen. I forget. I keep forgetting the name of the actor that plays Ultron. What were you saying? His name
James
was
Spader. James
James
Spader.
Spader. For all my Office fans out there, you guys seen Robert California, and you see how weird the Lizard King can get. So it feels like he's bringing that energy to it. Give me some of that. I hated
Yes.
Robert California, his character in The Office when it was introduced as like the new like boss, but no, I think this would be kind of cool to see. This would be
Yes.
kind of cool to see. Like he's a very weird dude.
Yeah,
Very
dude, he's
weird.
so weird. He's so weird. I love him. I love
Yeah.
James Spader. He's a
No,
weird
no.
dude. Yeah.
So I guess we'll see what happens. I am looking forward to it. It is nice to be in this past this whole like downer stage with the MCU and be excited again. And I like to credit that to Spider-Man for like rejuvenating
Oh,
a
it
lot of
set a
people.
great tone. It's setting a great tone for the
Yeah.
future.
I
Yeah.
can't recall like I think First Steps was still good, but and even like Thunderbolts Asterix was also
Right.
very good, but it really was, I think, brand new day. That's like, okay, man, and then all obviously, like you get like all like the cash grab by bringing all the like the past actors from the Avengers franchise from the past, the RDJ, Chris Evans, and all those guys. Now you're kind of excited to see what they do in building this new universe. You saw what they did with Jean Grey introduction in Spider-Man, and the fantastic way to give Jean Grey's origin story and then have her be the first mutant that gets introduced in this continuity.
Yes.
And just kind of go from there, because we do know that after Secret Wars, we are going to get the Mutant Saga.
Right.
And with the Mutant Saga, I hope we get more Kamala Khan. I don't think
Yes,
we
that would be
have
very
Kamala
cool.
Khan.
That would be very cool.
She was
Yeah.
retconned to be a mutant in the MCU at the end.
Yes.
At the end, so
No, that would be very cool. I love that. I am obviously we have a lot to talk about with the X-Men, so we're gonna save
yes,
that for another episode
yeah, man. We've been
because
in like about an hour and 20 minutes almost, like, and we've only been talking about Doomsday and then a little other
right,
stuff. So
exactly.
yeah, I guess we're gonna have to continue this MCU doom scrolling,
I think it's
Doomsday
cool. I
scrolling.
mean, this is a nice little side quest from our NBA basketball,
Mhm,
minutia and
mhm.
whatnot. I really like the way that these episodes for us have gone. So
Yeah,
I'm
no,
enjoying this.
this is definitely fun. And if you are enjoying these episodes with us, make sure you give the video a like,
Please
comment down
do.
below. Let us know what you guys what are your Doomsday scrolling fan
Seeing the
theories?
like just boosts my endorphins. You know what I'm saying? Like it gives us that little like positive
Yes.
reinforcement. Like so,
Yes.
yes.
And if you want to avoid incursion in the future, hit the bell notifications so you know how to avoid it and you get a tap in with us as well. The only incursion your world should be having is with the 606 world,
Please.
or the 606 universe. Pun
Thank you.
intended for sure that time. 606 universe on the social media. Spell out the first six at SESvince for myself on social media as well. Bosch, where can people find you again?
Find me at systemlords.bsky.social. I will plug, besides the fact that we will get into the X-Men as by the fact that you've seen my personalized Magneto helmet and the gear I normally wear.
Yeah.
I am very into the X-Men. We will have a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I also have an interesting thing to plug here, which is Nova. Marvel Cosmic is a
Oh,
particular
yes.
interest of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Nova movie was also part of the announcements. It was originally purported to be a TV show many
Mm-hmm.
years ago, but they've now said it's going to be a movie. It's on the slate. Um, I have a particular pitch for Nova that I was hoping to write up as a treatment
Mm-hmm.
and, I don't know, accost Kevin Feige in an elevator somewhere
Yeah.
and pitch it to him.
Right.
But unfortunately, that seems like it's not going to happen. I may head to LA and try to find him anyway. But in the
Have to.
meantime, I think on a future episode, I'm going to give my Nova pitch because it's probably too late. They're probably already doing something else. But I have an idea that I think would be so unique and so cool that I would like to pitch. And we're going to do that separately.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. It's never too late. Doomsday used to be King Dynasty, so
Exactly, man.
so
The
it's
next
never too
the,
late.
the next actor that gets caught in some horrific scandal and they got to pivot, man, they're gonna have my Nova pitch to look back
Yeah,
on.
there we go. There we go. So look forward to the Nova pitch. Look forward to the X-Men and MCU conversation in that Mutant Saga. If you enjoyed this one, you'll probably enjoy the previous episode where we talk about Brand New Day as well. Talk about the post MCU universe and happenings of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU going forward after Secret Wars and Doomsday. And look forward to more NBA stuff, maybe more Marvel stuff. Maybe we start mixing in some new things. This has been a fun time. We thank everybody that's been here, whether that is on YouTube or on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music. I almost say Google Podcasts. I keep saying the Google Podcasts, even though they don't exist
I
anymore.
like the fact that you still always say it and then correct yourself on it. I enjoy that little bit.
It's my little bit. It's my little bit at the end. But tiny itty
Well,
bitty potato
we
stuff.
do bits on this show. I don't know what's a bit. I don't know what that is. So.
It's little bit potato. Little
Mm.
potato. Little potato things. But tune into the next 606 is big potato problems. You guys should definitely address those in the next episode. We'll catch you guys there.
Peace.